Hi, everybody. This is Brad Archer, the company manager of Horn on the West 2014. And with me today is Sarah Flanagan and Jake Daly, who work at Horn on the West. And Sarah, what's exactly your role with Horn?
So I'm hired by Horn in the West as the character Nancy Ward. I'm also the fight choreographer, and I'm also the props master. And I'm sort of unofficially the pyrotechnician as well.
So that's a bit of work.
A bit, yeah.
Just
a couple of things.
Yeah, and then Jake Daly, what do you do?
Well, I play Jack Stewart, as well as I'm the fight captain, so I work underneath Sarah for all the fights.
Okay, great. And tell me a little bit about fight director and fight captain. We'll start with you, Sarah, about what exactly does a fight director do?
So as a fight director or fight choreographer, it's your job to go in and look at the script and designate with the director, these are the scenes where fighting is going to take place. And sometimes it even falls down to movement and not necessarily fighting. If there's a tussle or a shove or somebody getting picked up in a funky way on stage, that might be another situation where you have a fight person come in and look at it for you. And on a very basic level, it breaks down to storytelling. What is the arc that the fight needs to take? How do we tell the story of what's going on with the violence on stage? And then how do we make it safe and repeatable so that especially in theater where you have to do it 6 nights a week all summer long in the case of Horn, how do we make it something that the actors can do every night while not hurting themselves and still getting across a clear story to the audience?
Okay, yeah, great. And then as far as fight captain goes,
what
does that entail?
Well, fight captain, while the fight choreographer, fight director is there, we assist them in however they need us. And usually, we're lucky to have Sarah still with us, but usually fight directors and fight choreographers usually leave after the rehearsal period. That's where fight captains come in to make sure that everyone stays safe, fix any problems, and just keep everyone on track with the fights. So that's where we are right now.
Okay. Now, do you guys continue to rehearse fights throughout the season?
Absolutely, yes. We have what's known as a fight call, where the actors are called in early to the show and run through at half speed and then at full speed any of the fights that happen during the show, sort of as a refresher.
Okay.
It's like an extra rehearsal just for the fights.
Right. I'm assuming to keep the safety and the intensity of the fight.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a chance for me and for especially Jake as the fight captain to be able to watch it. Because if you're in the show, you don't really get to see it while it's happening. And it's just a chance for us to put eyes on it and say, hey, you're getting a little slow with that, or hey, you're kind of missing his face on that punch.
Right. Okay, great. That's awesome. And then how long have you been doing fight stuff?
I have actually only been doing this for 3 years this September.
Wow, 3 years. 'Cause I know Sarah from working with her in Horn, and that's actually surprising to me. I thought you were doing it longer.
It'll be 3 years in September.
Okay, great. And what do you do as far as fighting is concerned? You do how does one become a fight director? I guess is the question I want to ask.
So, particularly if anybody at home is interested, I highly recommend looking up the Society of American Fight Directors, which is the largest certification organization in the country. The SAFD essentially creates a standardized set of curricula for people to follow, so that if I approach someone and I say, hello, I've tested with the Society of American Fight Directors in unarmed, there's a set of moves and skills that they know I have under my belt because I've completed that certification.
Okay, yeah.
So it's sort of like it's not a union, but it's sort of along the same lines of a union or a college degree, where I say I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in, acting. You, as someone who haven't met me before, would expect that I know certain things based on having that degree. It's kind of the same. So there's a standardization across the board. And you go through what's called an SPT, a skills proficiency test process, whereby you get a minimum of 30 hours of training in a weapon. It usually winds up being more, but 30 is the minimum. At the end of which you take your test, a fight master comes in and adjudicates your performance exam. And depending on how you do, then you get a piece of paper at the end that says, congratulations, you've received either a basic pass or a recommended pass. Or not a pass, but hopefully you do
Hopefully
pass.
you get the pass, yeah.
So that you can get these tests in these different weapons. There's 8 weapons recognized by the society. In order to, I am not a certified fight director with
Right.
the SAFD. I am a freelance fight choreographer, and I'm also an advanced actor combatant with the SAFD. They also have a fight director rank, which I will, in all likelihood, not be able to get for 10 years minimum.
Oh, wow,
Probably
yeah.
more like 15, because there's so many requirements you have to knock out on the way to getting that.
To get up to that.
Yeah.
So really cool. So the SAFD really tries to keep everything organized as far as that's concerned. Because I know in the theater, there's so many different things, vocabulary even that you use, that you'll say, oh, well, you need to achieve this goal. And then someone else will go, it's not a goal, it's an objective. And someone else, but it seems like SAFD really kind of brings it all together as far as fight is concerned. And trying to make sure everybody's on
absolutely.
the same page.
Yeah, so on some level, it's so that we can have a conversation and we have a standardized definition of this is an advance, this is a retreat, this is a traverse, this
Right.
is, here's what our footwork is called, here's what our moves are called. And it's also really to just uphold a standard of storytelling and a standard of performance and a standard of safety.
Yeah.
The most common stage combat injury is a director who doesn't know any better saying, oh, well, just slap him, which you
Right.
should never do. You should never do that, because there's ways to make that safe and to not actually be hitting a person every night, which is
Right.
a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But that's the number one, is just people that don't know any better
Yep.
actually hitting each other on stage because they don't know they have options.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then Jake, you also are involved with the SAFD, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I've only been doing stage combat for a year, and I've only been able to test in 2 weapons. However, one of the great things about Horn is that it provides a class with a certified teacher for us to be able to test in other weapons.
Okay, that's really awesome. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we just call it the fight class. We basically come together for about 6 hours a day and try to get that minimum of 30 hours or more in certain weapons. And then at the end of July, we have a fight master come in and adjudicate us for SPTs. And hopefully all of us pass.
Okay, that's really, so the whole cast of Horn has the opportunity to train with SAFD and get proficiencies in these different weapons. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I know a little bit about SAFD, so I know it can be very difficult to get this training depending on where you are in the country. So having something like that it's so nice. I know for me, because I'm taking the class right now too.
Yeah.
And it's great to be able to test and put that on your resume and just have that knowledge and like you said, a standard of safety to know I will do this, I won't do this because it's unsafe or whatever, and being able to have that conversation with people. It's a very helpful thing in a full-time actor's career. So great. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else you wanted to say about where you come from or what's going on at Horn?
If you're at all curious about the Society of American Fight Directors, we have a website, safd.org, which you can look up at your leisure and check us out.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. And on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap it up and just remind everyone at home, if you guys are interested in coming to see Horn of the West this season, it's a great show. We've got a great cast. You've met a few of us. Information for that can be found at horninthewest.com. And also you can call our ticket office at 828-264-2120. Thanks very much, and we hope to see you next week.